Hello everyone and welcome back to another book review. Today I am reading a book that I was inspired to get out of the library from another book that I read, and that was Image on the Edge by Michael Camille. So Image on the Edge dealt with medieval illustrations, illumination, text illustrations, so stuff that happens kind of on the borders, hence the name On the Edge, and kind of what's going on there, which I feel like a lot of people are familiar with those illustrations that occur in a lot of medieval texts, and people want to know what's going on there. Image on the Edge was a very interesting book, a very thorough book. However, it was kind of academic, especially for someone who didn't have a lot of familiarity with the subject. So now I'm going back and I'm reading some books about medieval illustration that kind of give me that base layer that I wish I would have had going into that book, and I'm finding it very interesting. So today I am reviewing this book, which is part of the Medieval Imagination series, and that is Images in the Margins, which the name almost sounds like Image on the Edge, the book by Michael Camille, but it's Images in the Margins. So this book I thought was the absolute perfect blend of text and pictures. I feel like when a lot of people think about medieval illustration or the illumination of text, they want to see the pictures, they want to actually see what's going on, and that's an area where Image on the Edge really lacked. I don't think there were colored pictures in that book, and the pictures weren't as frequent as I would have wanted them to be. However, in another book that I'm reading right now, which is about medieval monsters, I feel like the text amount is too little and there's a lot more focus on pictures, because I want a good blend of the text, which will explain what I'm looking at in the pictures, but I also want the visual to go with the text, so I'm not just having to imagine it. I feel like with Image on the Edge, the author expected you to already have some familiarity with the topic, so familiarity with the things he was referring to, the scenes he was referring to, so other people who had a lot of familiarity with this and could recognize, oh, I know that scene. But as someone who didn't have familiarity, I was like, I don't think I've seen that before. So I'm trying to think, or I'm looking at stuff on my phone, or I'm like, maybe I've seen that before. So I wanted to see the pictures more. This book is the perfect blend of both of those. It had enough text and kind of went into what you were seeing for you to really appreciate what you were seeing, but there's also enough illustration to really let you see, I don't know how else to say that, to let you see what you're reading. So the visual to go along with the text, so you're not just stuck trying to imagine it or look stuff up on your phone to figure out what's going on. This book is divided into different topics within it. So we have inhabited initials, borders, Renaissance frames, everyday life, animal kingdom. There's quite a number. You can see them here on the front page, all the different kinds. So they kind of cover a wide range of types of illustration, and they break it down in those different sections. So it doesn't go in a chronological order or anything like that. It just goes with different things in the illustration. So like inhabited initials are just about the initials and everything that's going on in there. And again, this book is not too big, but because you're looking at a lot of pictures, it will take you quite a bit of time to go through because you're enjoying the pictures and looking at everything after you read the text. So if we just dive into what this kind of looks like, let me see if I can find a good page. So here's an example where you have the two illustrations and you have some information about it and then text. So this one has only a little bit of text. There's also pages that have more text. So over here where you get a little bit more to read, but then you still have those great pictures and these full page illustrations that kind of illustrate, they do illustrate what's going on in the text over here, so you can compare. And this is what really takes a lot of the time, which is a good thing, is enjoying these beautiful pictures that they give. And they make it very clear in the text which picture they're referring to because it's all labeled. I don't like it when I have to hunt to try to figure out which picture they're referring to, so I thought this book did a really good job. There's a ton of different pictures. It's really interesting. They cover a wide range of topics in this book and also a wide range of time frames. The book just is so cool and shows a lot of interesting stuff. They really sometimes zoom in on the details, so this is just specifically one scene, but then when you saw on these pages back that were kind of more like full pictures, so they do both. So here's like another close-up, but here's a full picture. So they do both. They cover both. It's really interesting. The text is very accessible to a general reader. You don't have to have any specialized knowledge, but you get a lot of interesting, I guess, fun facts and interesting illustrations. So here is the author zooming in on all the different games they play. This is in the medieval or marginal games section, so you can learn quite a bit from these illustrations, and also having that text there explains a little bit better what you're seeing, so you're not just looking at pictures and thinking, well, that's interesting, I wonder what they're doing. They actually go into, in my opinion, the perfect amount of explanation that I was looking for this book. I also appreciated, I really wanted to call this out because I don't think I've seen this in any of the other books that I've been reading so far. They included a text from Armenia, and I don't think I've seen text from Armenia included. That is this one right here. I don't think I've seen that included in a medieval illustration, but this one was really, really pretty, and I appreciated its inclusion, and it makes me wonder what else I'm missing from Armenia and the illustrations that went on there. This one specifically was in the animal kingdom section, and they were talking about these beautiful birds and the plants and everything that's going on here, but I also really like the colors in this one, and when I saw it, I was like, I wonder where that's from, where this little text down here, and it's from Armenia, and I just really appreciated that. I thought that was a really good inclusion in the book on the author's part. And the last thing that I want to point out is, of course, if you read a book and you like what's going on, particularly in a nonfiction book, there's a further reading or suggested reading page, which there was in this one. So if you liked anything that you read, you could get any of these books in the back. And what is book 2 on the list? Image on the Edge, The Margins of Medieval Art by Michael McIlwain, the book that I read. So it's kind of interesting to say, hey, I read that one. There's actually 2 other books by Michael McIlwain here in the back, The Gargoyles of Notre Dame, Medievalism and the Monsters of Modernity, and Michael McIlwain, Mirror in Parchment, the Luttrell Psalter, and the Making of Medieval England. So if any of those sound interesting, or if anything else that's here on this list sounds interesting, it gives you quite a number of suggestions. It's just interesting that as I flipped to the last page, I saw the book that had kind of triggered me to get this book in the further reading. So maybe I read these backwards. I read the further reading before I read this book, but I still thought it was a really cool edition. I really do recommend this one. This is probably one of the better, probably the best book so far that I've read on the medieval margins. It gives you a really good basis. It's really, really interesting. It gives you enough information to feel like you're learning something, but it gives plenty of pictures which illustrate it. I really recommend this one. If anyone is looking to read about medieval illustration, I would start here. This is Images in the Margins in the Medieval Imagination series. Makes me wonder what else is in the Medieval Imagination series. Other than that, everyone, I hope you have a great rest of your day. Thanks.